Good morning, and thank you to be here today. It's a real pleasure, and thanks to Oracle to organize this first open world event in Europe. 10,000 people around, and thanks to be in this room this morning. And I heard some travel as well, 40%, so thanks to make the time. So I'm leading our technology business in Europe and as well our platform business globally. So I would like to link to this with Oracle, but as well talk a bit about the vision. So last year, and still valid now, we did set some technology vision, what we see which is coming. And we saw the massive shift to the cloud. This is happening. There is no question about it anymore. It's moving. Quantum computing is starting to have operational cases. We saw it with Biogen, if you read those papers. We saw a lot of security and market value issue, like on Bitcoin, like with Equifax on the data. And we saw even the first robots to get a citizenship in Saudi Arabia with Sophia. So it sounds like changes are happening. So, and it changed the way we live, the way we work, and the way we do interact all together. So, but I wanted, and we had some PowerPoints always in meetings, but I wanted maybe, as we are using our phones every day a lot, and I think if you touch your phone every day, as an average, you will be surprised that you do it about 2,600 times a day. And even your kids, at least mine, around 4,000, if not more. So why not using my phone, which I gave to my friend Andy over there, to do this presentation today through my phone. So that's the new way I would like to present this vision around what we believe is the intelligent enterprise, how to unleash the power of the intelligent enterprise. What do we mean by that? What we mean is that technology becomes very embedded in our lives today. Through technology, we start to build deeper relationships, not within a company, but with our customers, with our friends, with our partners. And relationship is based on trust. So it's all about the opportunity for growth that exists, but as well the new responsibility that we have in the new way of driving an enterprise, which is the intelligent enterprise. So that's the main theme. If we move to the first trend, and that's going to be 5. So let's watch out those 5, right? The first one is not around artificial intelligence itself. It's around citizen AI. How are we going to use AI to be more responsible and do it in a really responsible way? Because the way you're going to do it will impact your company, the image of your company. It becomes the voice of the company. And AI is maturing. It's becoming part of the core capability. It's becoming, like we see here, the new work colleague, right? That's the new work colleague. And we have to learn those new work colleagues, educate them the way we do with our kids. I've got 4, and I realize I have to repeat and repeat stuff to them. So we have to teach and learn to the robots like we do with our kids, you know, in order not to be biased. Like, you know, on some translation tool, you will see situation where you type, she is a doctor, and you go to Turkish and you go back to English, it will tell you, he is a doctor. Or if you say, he is a babysitter, you type the translation to Turkish, you go back to English, it will say, she's a babysitter. This is not acceptable. And this is happening because we are not teaching enough those systems. If we move to some examples, like in New York Icahn School of Medicine in Mount Sinai, they've been scanning 700,000 patient files. And with this, they are able to diagnose automatically 78 diseases to help the doctor to do better their jobs. Company in Finland, they're already starting to use kind of, not a chatbot, but an AI system to become part of, as a board member of the management of the company, giving some recommended decision. In EU, where we are today, well, I guess things going to move. But today we are all, and that's a great thing, I believe. We implemented the right for explanation. So every company, when we implement AI, we have to think on the way we're going to have to explain why the algorithm came to that conclusion. In particular, when you go to bias, decision, etc., we're going to have to justify yourself. So this was Citizen AI, and you will see there are some, in the booth that we have set up here, there are examples around some chatbot. We had cases, if it comes to Oracle, Oracle has already launched its AI platform. It's available. We can use it. There are cases like, in France, we have an allocation system where we give every year, I don't know whether you know, about more than 75, even more billion dollars to families, half of the French families, to help them when they need help. And the system has been completely rebuilt, leveraging Oracle, to have a very seamless experience. And now that we have the platform on Oracle Cloud, we have the AI tools, then we're going to be able to do chatbots and bring AI within the processes, which is going to elevate the relationship with the citizen, which is good. So this was citizen AI. Let's move to the next trend. The next trend is around extended reality. And you all read, from Arthur C. Clarke, whether you read the book or you saw the movie on Space Odyssey 2001. That was written in 1968, and that was very, very futuristic. And that same person in 1964 predicted that from Hindenburg we will be able to do surgery, remote surgery in New Zealand. And this is really disruptive. And so extended reality as a theme, we see it as a game changer. If you look to Audi, IKEA, or Redfin, you can visit your car virtually. You can visit your kitchen virtually. You can visit your future home virtually, as if you were there, and help your choices. At Walmart, to prepare the Black Friday, the big Black Friday thing, what do? They equip their people with virtual reality system. So it helps them to anticipate the big wave of clients coming in. At Airbus, you know this company, massive European company, very proud about this company. What's happening over there? They have implemented an augmented reality system for the people who are plugging the seats on the plane. It's a pretty complex process where all the time they need help, they need to check what they do, and it comes that there is some default when they plug the seats. When they implemented the augmented reality system, they improved the productivity by 500 basis points. 500 basis points. And the error rate of plugging the seats on the plane came from whatever level it was to 0. And now, as we speak, they are deploying that across all the processes. So imagine the time frame that's going to scale down to build a plane, right? So Oracle Cloud, as well, has now implemented solution with APIs that enables to plug in augmented reality system to the cloud system. So it's there. It's up to us to invent the new process and be creative enough to think what we can do, like what Airbus did. Arcadis, a large company in Europe who is working on building engineering, is using augmented reality to simulate the building while they are shaping it, to help the engineer to design it and see how it looks like during the time they do their job. West Midland Police as well, who is deploying and continue to deploy Oracle, is using the system to locate police forces and send them immediately, instead of before it was taking minutes and hours. Now it's immediate. And they can send them to whatever events. Like I know it happened some time ago here, and they've been using that system to get a good response level. So, and we can even imagine more processes for the police tomorrow, to have more augmented reality system. So this was extended reality, and let's move to the next theme. The next theme, we all talk about data, right? We talk about big data. How can I collect as much as data as I can? That sounds to be the thing of the past. So the era of big data has happened. It's done. What's coming now, based on the vast majority of data we have, is that we need to trust the data. Just like we need to trust the water we're going to drink. Why should you trust the water you drink? Same for the data. We need to have things in place that is checking the accuracy of the data, so you can trust the goodness in the data within your company. So if we move to some examples on data veracity, it's like an oil company. They take decision to drill at a place depending mainly on data. So if there is data issue, like people who will manipulate the data or whatsoever, you're going to drill at the wrong place. Thomson Reuters, they had a lot of issue, not them specifically, but the market in terms of fake news, right? We saw that everywhere. So they implemented an algorithm to automatically identify fake news. Elon Musk, with the Dragon capsule, he has implemented within the capsule 6 computers working in pairs. And the only thing they do is to check whether the data is correct before the process is on. And 2 computers need to agree before it's moving on. And when you think that, in business-wise, 2/3 of the business data are hosted in Oracle system, imagine the opportunity we all have together to think about how we're going to work on the data veracity and at the same time invent new ways to generate revenue. Same with a life science system that, by the way, we developed jointly with Oracle as Accenture. And in it, it's great because companies like Pfizer, Merck, or JCK, what can they do? They can accelerate their drug test because they can access to structured data, unstructured data from patients, and they can accelerate their process to identify the new, to validate the new drug to go to production. And that is massive amount of money saved and quicker ability to save patients. So in conclusion on that theme, it's all about moving from quantity of data to quality of data, where we need to input new process, new algorithm to check the veracity of the data. So let's move to the next theme, which is around frictionless business. It's all about partnering at scale. Now, it's not enough anymore as a company to work in isolation. You have to connect with all your ecosystem everywhere, with your clients, but as well with your partners and with your suppliers. So this is the examples of a company that's going to be successful or is going to fail. If a company is not organizing itself to work in a frictionless way, where the process is simple for the user with no too much people interaction and process where it stops, where you need to wait for something, this is for me the new way of operating. But for this, systems have to adapt. I mean, legacy have to adapt because sometimes legacy, they don't have the API, so you have to rotate your system to the new before. But then when you do like Amazon and Nike and Amazon, you can sell the product through Instagram. So all the business is connected. Volvo and Carrefour, you can deliver your shopping within your car where you are. Pharmacy Walgreens, they had a problem. They wanted to accelerate the deployment of new loyalty program. And they did in few months only 275 partners connecting together where the loyalty program was online connected. And for that, they implemented microservices to connect their system with their partners. So more modular, easy to plug type of architecture. Part of it is blockchain. And maybe the first example, not directly related to Oracle, but first example is around the identity. We'll all have, I guess you all have passport. At least you need passport to come in, but 40% use that passport today. There is 1 billion people in the world who don't have identity, no identity. And what ID 2020 did, they used blockchain technology to provide a digital identity for these people so they can demonstrate and prove themselves who they are at a point wherever they are across Europe. And this is mainly deployed for refugees, which is very important. In the justice sector, which is related to, by the way, an Oracle situation, they used the latest offering to ensure during a trial, all the evidence that needs to be provided through the process are confirmed and validated through blockchain technologies. So there is no more manual checking about what you sent me, etc. It's automatically recognized. So in conclusion, frictionless business is all about opening the architecture to create new partnership, which is now the only way for any company to become successful. It's not within an industry, it's across all industry. That's the way we look at it. So let's look to the last trend. We all hear around IoT. IoT, Internet of Things, no, that's over. It's Internet of Thinking. Because we all have a smart device at home, and in business, we are starting to, in every shops, in every product, to get the product connected. But even more than that, the product is connected and there's some process running within the product in kind of autonomous way. So that's what we see here. It's connected everywhere. And so we're moving from a cloud-first kind of mindset initially to a cloud plus, because the computing is happening at the edge when we refer to Internet of Thinking. So moving to some examples, like Virgin Racing Formula E race team, what they did with the car, they are within the car while the car is driving on the race. There are some sensor and computing within the car, and the car is adjusting itself while it's driving. If you look to the partnership that Oracle did with Bloodhound, this car going to 1,000 miles per hour, what's happening there? They put 500 sensors to as well, real time, collect the information and adjust the configuration of the car to reach the speed and more important, have the brake doing their job before it crashes, right? So that's what has been developed. With Oracle as well, there are some hospitality solutions where there are some wearable devices distributed to people working in hotels, like even in the cleaning process, to inform when a room is ready, when a room is done. So automatically the client can get in. So there is less waiting time, and there is more efficiency between the different people working within the hotel. If you use as well, again, the Oracle blockchain solution that exists, in a supply chain process, you can implement sensor and track the shipment in any type of supply chain system. This is not something futuristic. You can see that at the booth, and you can go and discuss with the team and the Oracle colleagues to showcase it to you. So but it's not ready to use. We have to see within your specific business how this is applicable. So this was Internet of Thinking, moving from mainframe, cloud, to computing in the edge, at the edge. That's the new way, and you need different type of profile. So as you understand, this is all about, when you look to all the theme, this is all about trust. This is all about the transparency and your ability or joint ability to open the architecture of an enterprise. Because frictionless business, there is no way to do it if you're not going to open your architecture, your technology architecture. But as well, you're going to augment your people. You're going to do automation. But as well, you're going to have to train them to be ready in the new. As a company, we do like 60% in the new, and we were close to 0 7 years ago. We had to train more than 200,000 people in 2 years to do it. This is our responsibility to do. And we believe by doing this, leveraging those latest visions that are available, as well partnering, working with Oracle, we can make collectively some stuff that were impossible before and get them possible. So let's maybe summarize before we close those 5 themes that we've been going together. So we talked about citizen AI. We talked about extended reality, the end of distance. We talked about data veracity. We talked about frictionless business. We talked about Internet of Thinking. And those 5 themes, we believe, are going to help us to think about what do we need to implement jointly. And one important message I want to leave with you. In the last few years, when we did digital transformation at key clients and willing to do intelligent enterprise to transform them, there were some few digital projects there and there. And it worked well. But what we realize now, if you want to do innovation at scale, if you want to do a real digital transformation of a large company, the one company that you are leading today, we have to transform the core. The core platform must move to the new. When it comes to Oracle, when we talk about finance, we talk about HR, we talk about supply chain, we talk even more important about customer experience, we have to move it to the cloud. But it becomes, maybe people will say, oh, it becomes more expensive. Well, it's a digital transformation of a full company, because then when you will want to interconnect that system with APIs, with partners, better to have one system across your whole company to be able to do it. Otherwise, you will never scale. So that's what we believe is essential. And in order to do that, the way we implemented that vision with Oracle is to deploy something that we call My Concerto. That's not a vision, it's now. And it helps to create those business cases. This has been built with a person in the room called Phil Eisen. He's here, he's leading Oracle globally at Accenture. And My Concerto that you can see at the booth is helping to build what's going to be the value of transforming my core to the new. So then I can do all the innovation and create the new application on my core, but in the cloud. Already connected with all the APIs I need, with all some other partners that are there in the field. So that is for me the key message. We're going to get more news and messages around the tech vision because on the 6th of February, if I'm correct, we're going to announce the new tech vision with some more theme coming in. And for sure, with Oracle, we will create the messaging around how we're going to apply and work on those vision that is coming now, the next, for your specific businesses, because it's all about helping companies like the one you are leading to rotate yourself to the new. With this, thanks a lot again to Oracle to organize this Oracle Open World, and thanks, more important, to all of you to spend those days together and willing to have more conversation after this session at the booth and or everywhere. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you.